Okay. I don't know why this is coming to me, but I'm going to share. I'm just trying to get it out. Okay. The people that hate you for doing what you do, for living the way that you live, for sharing your truth or whatever, are like all, it's always because they didn't free themselves in that way. Like that, it's like they didn't want to do, they may never get to a place where they realize that it's the shadow work that they didn't do to get to that place, because you're unlocking all this stuff. It's like, I don't have a chat with God like, oh, please give me XYZ information to get, like, it doesn't work that way. It just comes to you. It's so, and I'm just sharing it. And there's other aspects that it's like, I have always had this kind of free spirit, like spiritedness. How would you describe that about me? And these same people that have hated on me are people that like, that's what I mean about this. There's this obsessive like love-hate thing that you deal with, because it's like, I feel like a lot of these people are, I'm thinking of one in particular that has highlighted all these things about me, has seen these things about me and said that they were like attributes, and then also hated me for them. So that's what I mean about, it's like there's an aspect that they haven't unlocked in themselves. And so it's like, I don't know why it's just how it's like, you have to have these people because you have to keep their resistance. And it's like, cause like I had, a moment, and I was like, okay, I need to refocus. But then I'm like, is it okay to share this? And it's like, they were like, yeah. And it's like, that's something that like, I do enjoy it now. Like, it's like, okay, I don't want to get off track. I feel like it probably just goes together of like, you're learning truths, and so then you want to share them. And you want to help others, like whatever it is that you're learning and stuff. But, like, I think of it like, I remember, I'm trying not to give like specifics, cause it's like, I don't want to like, I only can give examples from people that I've known though. So it's hard just because it's like examples help like as a reference point. But I'm thinking of these particular people in my family, and this one person was talking about another relative and like bashing them for like being like that same kind of free spirited, like being nice and being like, and I don't know, it's tough because it's like, there is this fake nice thing. I guess it comes back to discernment. So it's like, you have to discern for yourself, like, cause I know that I have this like Queen of Cups energy, and I like that about myself, but it's like, it's often used to get, seen as a weakness, and it's often, people can play it back can be fake nice to you because they just want you to be sweet to them and stuff like that. So it's like, there's always these games that we're having to play out here. Now I'm getting off track. The more that you're just with yourself, though, you just start to accept all these things about you. And because I guess that was the point, is it's like, then these outer reflections, you can see them for what they are, and you can just let it go with those people. Because I think about that with like those specific people in my life. And there were times when I was just like, I know I don't deserve this. I know I don't deserve to be treated this way, etc., or these things to happen, or like be belittled and all these different things. But then when you step back and you can see it as like, that person really wanted to free that part of themselves, but they haven't done the inner work, and they have to do that. Like, there's no other way. So you still didn't deserve that treatment, but it helps you to be able to find that forgiveness and embrace that aspect of yourself again. Thank you. I was trying to see where this was going. Because it's always going to be that way. It's always going to be like, they're going to have to deal with people who hate you, but for whatever reason, but it's just because that's a reflection that they haven't accepted about themselves. because the right people are gonna like, because that's the other thing, that when you're by yourself, you're like, okay, well, I know my kid doesn't, well, I mean, he does some, but sometimes sometimes we have quarrel, but like, you know, that you encounter people who like just accept you, that was the other point I wanted to make, is like there's those people that just accept you as you are, and you don't feel this weird like there's always something wrong with me, or there's always these people that want to put me in a box or whatever, because you'll encounter other people who just like are like, yeah, like, that's cool, I don't care what you do, like it's just funny, because then you'll just realize like, okay, these certain people are like, they have to be this sort of catalyst in my life because of whatever reason it's set up that way and stuff. So because you still have to keep trucking on your own anyway, and loving yourself for how you are. And okay, last thing, because this was one of the things that came to me, is that's like one of the ways that I'm learning that, and I'm still trying to figure this out because it's very confusing and it seems kind of complex, but it's like, I know not giving enough, and I'm also a manifester, but like, I know not giving enough information gives people the wrong idea, because it's like, that's the other thing, is it's like, as you're doing this, you're still expected to show up and play your part, essentially, like show up and like do your thing. And I guess if you choose to be a monk, then you can choose to be in silence, but like the rest of us don't get that, you know what I mean? Like it's that type of thing. So it's like, I remember when I cut things off with my mom and I started doing things on my own, and I tried to explain the situation, but I was a little bit harsh in the sense of like, I was like, I want sovereignty and this is what I'm doing. And then I just accepted that like, I'm going to be the villain in these people's stories. And like, I already knew that people who gossip are always gossiping. I already knew that my name was in people's mouths because that's been a thing that I've known for a long time. And anyway, but I didn't know anyway, and I know that my parents communicate and stuff. And like one of the first times I had a chat with my dad, he was like, he thought that I was like doing drugs and stuff. Like, that's what I mean. Like, it was like, and it made me mad at first, but then I was like, okay, like I get it. I'm not giving them information. Like, they have a right to just be like, what the hell, So that's where it's like finding that balance of like, speaking what you need to say and standing up for yourself, but also not accepting other people's BS too, that was like the other thing that was like my dad's side. I don't know. I don't really know if I want to. My dad's side's more with my mom because of course they were married, and they're in this together and financially helping us and stuff. So it's like there had been different kind of weird things that have happened, but like, oh, when he first found out that I was doing tarot, but then that was in the same conversation where he was like asking if I was on drugs or whatever I was doing, was trying to find out information. And then he was like, I don't care what you're doing, as long as you're taking care of your responsibilities and stuff like that. And it's like, that's also the difference to me, is it's like, there'll be those people who don't feel the need to corner you or say you have to do this thing or try to pull you off your path, because that there's a stubbornness and a self-righteousness that those people think that their way is the right way and stuff. But there's always ways that like evil ends up coming out of them because of that, because it's like, it's wrong. It's infringing. It's infringing free will on others. And so those are hard to fight past, because those people really have a strong way of like saying their way is the right way, but it's all about control. And so, you just have to stick to your guns. I don't know. I'm going to wrap this up because I know I'm getting squirrely now. Because there are a lot of times that are really scary and really like unknown. And I just feel like I'm speaking that because it's been so crazy for me doing this, and like, okay, I gotta wrap it up. Like, really, it takes insane amounts of perseverance, because there's immense amounts of unknown that we are moving through, and we've been moving through, and there's a level of vulnerability in that, and that the one thing that I have is coming back to God and that safety within, because we don't have any help on our side. So I'm just speaking from my circumstance. So I'm not saying I don't think that you should do things the way I did, because I mean, I knew that I was following the path that I was meant to be on and stuff. I just didn't know how hard it was going to be to try to pull away and do it on my own. And that instead of the people that I thought were going to support me, ended up going against me, and what battle I was really up against in that way. But there's stuff like that you just wouldn't know until you get to that point. So hopefully your situation's not like mine. But that's just if I let myself get caught in that, because day by day, like, we're fine. Okay. I'm getting squirrely, so I'm going to stop there. Because there are those people that are going to love your craft and your gift. And that's the other thing. Like, I have to remind them, like, I've never been, like, the one time, I have to wrap this up. I've never done personal training and then teaching those Eldoa classes, which ended up being something that fell apart. That was like the most career type of thing I've ever done. And I've done like waiting tables and all these different things. And it was like, and my sister gave me a deck of that was one of the things that came to me recently, is I was like, my sister was like dabbles into spirituality and like gave me these crystals and a tarot deck. But for some reason, when I started doing tarot, it was like, there was something wrong with it. And it's like, my family's always been a little bit more on the spiritual than religious, or my mom's side, I guess. So it's like you just start to see how it's like, there's just people that they're gonna just play this part where it's like their goal is to try to get you off your path, or their goal is to try to like tell you what you're doing is wrong, or control you, or and so I don't have more advice on how it's just going to get better, but like, you got to stick to your guns. All right, I'm going to wrap it up there.